Hello, hello! Welcome to the show. SykoYoda back here with another adventure in Minecraft, and today we are working on a project that I've been kind of neglecting as of late, and I kind of felt like I needed to finish it up, so I've been putting some time into it off camera. Wanted to just get certain things buttoned up before we came on the video with you guys, and I think the progress is pretty outstanding. We're just taking care of the last section of chests. As you can see around here, we've got a radius or a circle kind of laid out and everything in place for that. Wanted to show you the basic process I was going through for all of these so you could see what it looks like before I cover it up. Spent a good amount of time just figuring out how to make it look pretty, I guess is the easiest way to say it, from all angles, and that way you never get a glimpse of anything that looks like netherrack or any other kind of ugly, and it has a very polished finish, just like the original chest banks that we put in here in our nether hub. I'm very much liking the idea of having everything here accessible in the nether hub, but there is an issue that I've ran into that I didn't really think of, and I'm sure I've mentioned it at some point, just not understanding how much that was going to affect me, and that was the idea of having water available to me. Can't have water in the nether. The only way you can have water in the nether is inside of a cauldron. So you got to bring it in by the bucket and then put it into a cauldron, and that is essentially the only thing that's going to allow you to store it, aside from putting it into the potion bottles. We'll make it work for us, but it does create somewhat of a challenge to do certain things. You know, like if you wanted to put farms into the nether, you'd have to be very cautious around them because they wouldn't have the water source next to them and all that stuff. Just something to add to the chaos and the thought process here. But this is the area that I wanted to put the potions in, and the whole reason for the last episode was to get the stuff to make that happen. Now we have a radius put in place. We can kind of work on how we want to do with color and stuff. I don't know exactly how I'm going to set all of this up, but I do know that I want to create some storage availability in here, and this is why I've gotten up to this point. Along with that, once we get this all filled in, there won't be pretty much any places for pigmen to spawn, so we don't have to worry about them making a whole bunch of noise. I want to go ahead and just grab the materials to make a bunch of... Where did I put it? I'm on the wrong side. A bunch of brewing stands. So we came back with 21 blaze rods. I didn't count how many I need there. Let's go ahead and just grab this stuff and make a whole bunch of them. Not that big of a deal. Can always stand to have an extra bit of brewing stands. Put a few in the ender chest and bring with us different locations. So I'm going to start off with 12 because I'm pretty sure it's less than that. Now I have a full inventory. Let's go ahead and pick up all that, put it back right there. Okay, and then I can pick those guys up. And then you might have already noticed this, but I already had it laid out kind of where I wanted these to go. But there is a question that I've been asking myself, and I don't know the answer to this. So, as we go through the process here, we'll see what's what. But that's quite a few brewing stands, as you can see. We are pretty good there. We've got, well, we made 12 of them. That means we have 8 brewing stands in here. That should be plenty to make things happen. I will probably just go ahead and set these in the made goods chest for the time being, and then put those back in there. There's a couple of things that I wanted to toy around with. I don't have any of the materials made for that, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But the color combinations I want to use are in my inventory already, and that was kind of the bonus of doing all of the clay excavation for this project, where I had a couple of colors that I wasn't going to be using for that, but they worked really well with the color palette that we have in here. We have a lot of whites and grays, and because these have a bit of a skin tone to them, I wasn't sure if it was going to gel well or not, but this is actually, I believe, light gray and dark gray. Did I get those back? It's kind of expensive to lose. So I was toying with the idea of making those work for us in different ways. Now we have a whole bunch of light sources in here, and I'm gonna try to utilize that for chest storage. I just want to figure out exactly how I want to do that. I'm thinking about doing is setting them on the clears so we get those light sources in. If that is the case, say we do like this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have the corner here, which I don't know how I'm going to deal with yet. So that's 6 per side if you look at it as a square, which gives us way more storage than we're ever going to use, but that will give us some storage that way. I think I want to do that because I want to try to keep as much light in here as possible. Now I have some filler blocks with me, so I can take care of that, and then pretty much anywhere I don't need to use something, I'm going to do something like this. Now I was figuring if I put the dark in the back, you're going to see that through the chests just a little bit, and then we could do this color along the sides like so, and then we have a bank, built-in bank, to put in chests in. Now I do have these colors right here, and I can change them out to something else, but that whatever I put in there will be quasi-visible from down below. I think I want to go ahead and just pop in another clear, or another skin tone like that, and we'll have some color implemented into here. It should work out for us pretty well. You see I got plenty of levels on me. That's from mostly quartz, and I'm hoping to... How's that look? I think that'll be fine. I'm hoping to... well, then we'll have 2 there. How do we feel about that? So if I fill it in like so, we're gonna have 2 thickness like that in between them. I think it'll still work. Yeah, I think it'll still work. Okay. I've got all these levels sitting on me from the quartz, as I was talking about, and I used the quartz in that section we just started in with, the beginning there of the episode, but I wanted to get a whole bunch of stuff repaired here pretty quickly. I have my main just working pick that's down to nothing. I got my fortune pick that's down to nothing. I have my silk touch pick that is down to nothing. The silk touch shovel, I got another one, so it's up in the air if I'm going to bother repairing that one or not. But everything is just kind of going, all my tools anyway, are going to be needing to be repaired at the same time. And I cannot remember how many times I repaired any of the picks in particular, but running into that situation that I did with the last just working pick, it gets expensive pretty quick to repair. Like, you only get a couple of times to repair them, and then you pretty much are not going to bother repairing them again. You're going to go ahead and try to just get a new pick. And I didn't realize that at the beginning of the changes to the way they made the enchanting and stuff. I don't know if it's a good swap or not. A lot of people like the new enchanting system and being able to repair the way that they are, but at the same time, the way it used to be, although you still had a limitation on how many times you could repair things, and it did get more expensive, it didn't seem like it happened as quickly. I really don't know how to tackle this one here in the corner. So, this is my space I'm working with. I feel like I could maybe do this. Yeah, that might work. Let's try it. And then pop this out. And that out. Oh, that won't work because... Oh, yes, that will work. Perfect. Okay. We got it. Let's try that and see how it looks here. So this would go out to here, and then we would do that. Nope, still won't work. We don't have access to that alcove unless we change up something here. I think that would be the best way to do it. That puts the darker in the back. It's going to be the same on either side. And then we've got that like that. What do we think? I think it looks pretty good. Now I could pop in some more of the darker color in certain spots to give it a little bit more standout quality, but I think if we implement some of the dark into maybe the ceiling or some other places in here, we'll still get that feeling. And I do like the color way everything kind of blends into each other. I was concerned that this was going to be too much of this essentially flesh color, but I think it works. That's going to give us tons of storage in here too, and there's not that many potions, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to use all the storage for, but we'll figure that out as we go along. Might do some kind of a optical illusion thing behind here too, because we have the glass sitting here. I could potentially just leave it hollow behind and put single chests too high in the front. I don't need to have the double chest, or I only need to put one chest in and leave the top empty, so that way I don't have to worry about what block we put on the top being hollow. So I could essentially do something like this, bring out that color a little bit more, put a single chest in there, or a single double chest at the bottom. I'd still be able to open it. I don't know for sure. We'll toy around with it. I do like the contrast in this color though. It does look good. Yeah, so we'll roll with that one. Yeah, some of the changes when you look back at it, I know I've talked about this before. When you look back at it, you wonder if that was a good thing or a bad thing, and every now and then certain things that just pop up I just didn't know were going to be the way they were, or I guess an issue, if you will. It's not really an issue, but the way that they change things as they update and progress through the game. It's interesting. All this has kind of come to light because of all the things that have been kind of talked about or tweeted out with different pictures and stuff about what the end is going to be like here, and that's coming up pretty soon. We have been told though that because Minecon is upon us, by the time this comes out, Minecon will have been over. We are not to expect the release of that anytime soon, that they are going to be doing snapshots just like they used to do. That is not changing, and that was good to hear. A lot of people in the community kind of just enjoy that aspect of the game, so for that to disappear, it put a lot of people in a funk, if you will, them thinking that that was never going to be available to them again. Well, it is. It's going to be available. Don't you worry, folks. Along with that, some of the changes that have come out in Minecon, which, as I said, this is kind of before it's going on, so I don't know a lot about it, but there's going to be some more talk about things like the HoloLens, and they're supposedly going to be releasing some new and epicness from that point of view. Of course, I will be talking about that as soon as I actually watch the stuff and can comment on all of what the goings on. A lot of people have felt like the game has kind of gone to a standstill for quite some time now, and it's always a interesting thing to watch as a game ages and see what happens to the community, especially one that was so open and so giving as Minecraft is and was. But at some point, just like any other game, it kind of turns into a what can we make moneymaker type of thing instead of having this community. It becomes a preyed upon thing. Perfect example of this, which no one's going to relate to that's watching this show, but I'm not even old enough to know about it really myself, was Woodstock, or that era of the hippies, quote unquote. When that all started, it was all about free love and free drugs, and that was pretty much the only thing that really it was about. It just happened to have a lot of good music that came out at the same time, which, you know, may or may not be caused by all the drugs that were being taken. Well, as time went on, it got to the point where the people that came in after the main movement, came in after the fact, if you will, and wanted to be part of it, they weren't coming to the same thing that they thought it was, or that they saw on the television. They were coming into something that was full of drug dealers and pimps, and a good many of just predator type people had kind of gotten into what they thought was going to be this great, you know, experience of free love, free drugs, free will, and just all around experimentation and pleasure, and not necessarily in the sexual sense. Turned into quite a bit of a violence, crime, and very expensive, very costly, also emotionally and physically, period of life. Everything that is good gets turned to bad. It's like the nature of the beast, it seems. So to use that correlation to go with what happens to a game, any game, but like Minecraft, watching things turn from where everybody was just happy to be part of the experience that has now come to what can we get for free out of it, or what have you. It's interesting to be there as all that happens and see how people respond to it, who sticks around, who leaves, all that stuff. I think the community in Minecraft has something that most of these things that kind of fall apart doesn't have, and it's a very good thing. It's telling of the future of us, of humanity, and that is a difference of what is important or valuable. And I see it more and more all the time where the newer, younger generations, they have a true love and passion for whatever it is and could care less literally about monetary value of things. It's something that gets lost as you get older and you get into the working world. But as you have more time to find yourself or express yourself before you have to enter the working world, because it's just like it is in the UK or in many European countries or Japan, you don't really have to worry too much about... Okay, something is wrong here. You don't have to worry too much about growing up quite yet, or that is wrong. Or what you're doing with your future. You get more chance and more time to develop your own set of values, your own worth, and what you feel the future should be shaped like. And it's great to see that this cookie cutter image that was kind of driven by the baby boomers or just the time period around that is disappearing, and more value is being placed on family, more value is being placed on experience and quality of interaction in life, not possessions. Makes me look it makes me happy to know that my son's not walking into a mess when he gets to be an adult. Things that we talked about a lot when I was a kid, space travel being one of them, is now going to be a real thing. And although sure, people are going to make money off of it, there's always going to be that in there. It's come into a situation where I feel like it's more about just the exploration versus the ability to make some cash. I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds to the future generations as they take control of certain parts of society and different aspects of life. It'll be very, very interesting to watch. Alright, I think I got this figured out for that. I'm going to go ahead and just keep on working on this a bit, and when we come back we'll have a better view of what this is going to look like. And then we can focus on what we're going to be doing with storage and how we're going to deal with not being able to really have water sources here in the Nether. We have finished it. Look at it. It's just beautiful. It's very nice and bright in here. We got a good contrast of colors and stuff. I even took care of this corner situation with the carpets, not knowing what to do with it. I also added in some of the acacia fences. I like the color that it brings into a thing. It looks kind of like terracotta, which, you know, works really well with the clay since that's the basically natural color. And the reason why that we're getting that effect from that is kind of a shading glitch. Otherwise it would look more orange, like it did in the tunnel situation. But I wanted to show you, we've also come up with some other things going on here, as you can see. Essentially got a way to feed in water bottles to all of these with the Mast storage. We got a full chest on either of them, and it's just a simple solution of putting in a hopper in the back going into it and then a full chest above it. And we've kind of wrapped it around to make it look like it belongs there type of thing. Give it a little bit of a housing, if you will. And it also just kind of helps close everything off so you're not looking at a whole bunch of weird colored blocks. As you can see back there, there's a diorite exposed. And then we went with the corner situation here, which we do have some pumpkins that you can see, but I think it works out well, especially once we get the potions in there. it just helps block even more of that off. Again, figured out a way to kind of blend everything in. Let's go ahead and run through one of those really quick. Essentially, we're going to add in 4 more from what we had, which is fine by me. More means better, right? So we got that taken care of like so, and do that like that. Need to go ahead and put in a piece of carpet on top of that one. This way we're not losing our lighting situation with the way we're set up. We still have light going on in here. And then we need the hoppers. Now, trick to these, to get them, the heck button did I just push? To get them to go into them, you got to hit the side, which is actually just this little section right here. So you pop that and you can get it. Otherwise, if you place on top of that, let's go ahead and do that. Goes right there. If you want to feed in ingredients into your brewing stands, that's where you would place them. So in the back or from the side, that will take care of the potion bottles. If you come up from the top here, you can put in the ingredients themselves, and that's all there is to it. I'm also going to be finicky about which way I place the chests, because I want them all facing somewhat of a similar situation like a show. And then we just need some stairs here. We're gonna we're gonna pop some of those in like so, and we're gonna bring out that one on both sides here, and along with that, this and this. And then we just pop in, kind of finish it off facing towards the hoppers, and then one in the center. Doesn't matter which way it's facing because it'll correct itself, and bada bing bada boom, Bob's your uncle. You got yourself a nice decent wrap on that. Still can get through all of those sections because of the height. Along with that, this one here has a decent, just easy way in and out. It is kind of cramped in here, but the whole point of it was just to make use of the space, since we already had something going on in here with all the storage. I kind of wanted to add something in here, and I didn't know what it was. I think this is a good solution to this. I think once we get a whole bunch of water bottles in here, coming through here and making Mast potions at one time is not going to be a problem. Now, I could try to make this even more, what am I trying to say? Even more automatic. Like, I could put potions on the backs of all of these with hoppers facing into the chests, and then just only make certain potions on each one of these. I could pop in chests above to continue to make sure that all the feeds were in there. I could completely automate it all together and even have all the ingredients set up ahead of time. I just am not that kind of a player, never have been. Those that have been with me for a long time, you will know that is the case. But that, I think, is going to call it for this one, folks. I'm going to continue on working on these, getting everything set up and taken care of. So next time we come up here, we should have everything in place and just be able to pop in, make potions, and take off. And that was the concept behind doing this project. Glad you guys joined me for it. As usual, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget that like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. And I hope to see you in another adventure here in Minecraft.